trees, right? This is the agenda which I'm going to follow. That is, we'll see what's the nature view of a tree and how the computer scientists view of a tree. Definition of a tree, why do we use these trees, examples, applications, terminology, binary tree, applications of binary tree, why, what is the difference between a tree and a binary tree, what are the properties of binary trees, full binary trees, complete binary trees, binary tree representations, all these things we will discuss, right? Out of which, let me give you the important topics. This three terminology is important. If he wants to ask a direct question, you may be getting the direct questions from the three terminologies, right? And coming to the next one, properties of binary trees. This is very important, right? Nobody stresses on this particular topic. We have very few properties of binary trees, and this is very important. We have a lot of questions on these properties of binary trees. Let us discuss those things in clear. Right, coming to full binary trees is just the definition part, and you should know the different types of binary trees. That's why we are giving the description of full binary trees, and this is important. Node numbering and properties. Maybe node numbering and properties may not be useful in the full binary trees, but these properties, the node numbering and is very important concept in complete binary trees, and this is also one important topic. And binary tree operations, okay, not that much important, and this is very important. Highly, you can put any number of stars. Binary tree traversals, right? And this is also very important. Construction of binary trees using traversals. That is, if a binary tree traversal is given like this, pre-order and in-order is given, how can you construct a binary tree? And if post order and in order is given, how can you construct a binary tree, right? I'll discuss what are the type of questions that are asked in these patterns, right? In these topics, what are the pattern of questions that I will discuss definitely. And coming to expression trees, this is also one of the important topic. You may be asked simple questions on these expression trees. And the next one, binary search tree. Binary search tree, very important concept. And the next concept, heaps. This is also very important, right? And if time permits, I will also discuss the balanced tree concept, and the two only AVL trees, right? So these are the topics we are going to discuss. Let me start with the trees. This is how a nature view of a tree. That is, you will have the roots at the bottom of the tree, and then we have branches, and then the leaves are at the top of the tree. This is how a nature views. But the computer scientist always views the tree in a reverse order, right? So this is how the computer scientist view the tree data structure. That is, the root is always placed at the top, and the leaves are always at the bottom of the tree, right? Let us forget about these branches and everything. It's just for understanding purpose only. So the computer scientist always views the data structure where the root is always on the top of the tree and the leaves are at the end of the tree, right? So coming to the definition of a tree T is a finite non-empty set of elements. We know the meaning of finite, right? Therefore, finite means we have limited number. That means it is countable in nature. For example, 10 nodes, that is countable. For example, 50 nodes, it is also countable. That is called as finite. Infinite means any number, right? There are infinite number of nodes. But the definition of a tree says that we should have the finite number of elements only. These elements are called as nodes. Again, we come across the same terminology, nodes. This nodes terminology, we have just observed that it is one of the term in the linked list concept, right? The same thing is implemented here, right? So the finite non-empty set of elements is called as a tree, but we have more refined definition of this tree. We'll discuss it later. But for time being, you remember that a tree is nothing but a finite non-empty set of elements. So it is having some For example, I say that it is having 5 different nodes. We can say it as it is a set. Tree T is a set consisting of 5 elements, and this element set is called as a node set. It's nothing but set of nodes, right? So out of this finite non-empty set of elements, one element is called as the root. This is important. Out of all these 5 elements, you designate one node as root. And remember that there will be only one root. You should not designate 2 or more elements as the root. Okay. So only one element should be designated as the root. It can be 4 or 3 or 2, 1 and 5. Anything can be there, right? And from the remaining elements, if any, so out of this node set that I have given as example, we have 5 nodes, that is 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. I am designating 4 as root. So from the remaining elements, that is 1, 2, 3 and 5, they are partitioned into trees. Again, these 1, 2, 3 and 5 are partitioned into trees, which are called as subtrees of T. So if you partition this 1 and 2 as one part, and again you partition this 3 and 5 as one part, this 1 and 2 is again a tree, but it is called as a subtree. Similarly, this 3 and 5 is again a tree, but it is called as a subtree, right? So this is the simple definition of a tree. Let me move to the next slide. Why do we use these trees? Very important. Why do we need these trees? Right. So it is the fundamental data storage structures used in the programming. We will see some of the applications of binary trees and binary search trees while discussing this trees concept only. There we can understand the importance of trees concept or trees data structure in the subject, right? So it can be treated as a fundamental data storage structure in any programming language, and this is important. We have a lot of data structures like arrays, stacks, linked lists, queues, and all these data structures are there. Then why should we go for another data structure? The answer is it combines the advantages of ordered array and linked lists, right? So we have discussed the importance of ordered array. Ordered array means the elements in the array are in the sorted order. We have taken an example of mobile contact list, and I have explained it clearly what's the importance of this mobile contact list if it is in alphabetical order or if it is in lexicographical order, right? If it is in lexicographical order, the search operation becomes very efficient. If you want to search an element in the unsorted array, it almost takes big O of n. But if you want to search for an element which is arranged in a lexicographical order, it will take less than big O of n, right? So this is the advantage of ordered array, where the search operation is robust or where the search operation is efficient in manner. This is very efficient. Whereas if you consider the linked list concept, just now we have completed the linked list concept, and yesterday's class as a last point or as a last slide, I have explained you various concepts or various time complexities that are involved in performing the operations of the linked list, right? So inserting at the beginning, it will have one time complexity. Inserting at the middle of the linked list, it will have one time complexity. Similarly, deleting the element from the linked list, that will have one time complexity. So all these together, we can draw a conclusion that the advantage of linked list is insertion and deletion are fast. Insertion and deletion are very fast, right, when compared to other data structures. So in this trees, what it is doing, it is combining the advantages of both ordered array and linked list. What is the advantage of ordered array? Which is nothing but efficient searching method. And what is the not efficient, fast searching method, or you can say it efficient also, right? Fast searching method. And what is the advantage of linked list? Fast insertion and deletion. So if you combine the advantages of both ordered arrays and linked lists, it is nothing but a tree. Therefore, in trees we have fast search, and we have fast insertion, and we have fast deletion. So combinedly it is called as tree. So this is the primary advantage of trees, where the searching, insertion and deletion is done in a faster manner, right? That's what I think he is discussing, the same point, right? Searching as fast as in ordered array, and insertion and deletion as fast as in linked list, right? Next, coming to next advantage. This is some of the important points regarding the trees. Introductory part. No need to worry about the introductory part. But you should have some knowledge on the introduction, right? Basic should be strong in order to solve different types of problems, right? So it consists of nodes connected by edges. Let us take some examples in the next slides, and then we'll explain what are these nodes and what are these edges, right? So next, coming to the next point, nodes often represent entities, right? It can be an entity, like for example, if you take a department of computer science and engineering, that can be treated as a node. Similarly, within the Department of Computer Science and Engineering, we have the UG course, PG course and MCA course. So UG course can be treated as a single node, and PG course can be treated as another node. Similarly, MCA, it is treated as a separate node. Like that, the nodes are nothing but the entities, such as people, car, parts, etc. Anything you can represent, right? And edges, this is important, this slide is very important. Here it is saying that a tree consists of two important parts, that is nodes, and the another important part is edges. So we have discussed these nodes. What are these nodes? These nodes are nothing but they represent the complex objects, that is they represent the entities such as people, car parts, or departments, something like that. Anything can be represented using nodes. Similarly, the other part of the tree is nothing but edges. These edges are nothing but arcs that connect different nodes. So one node is connected to another node. That nodes are connected by using arcs, which we call it as edges, right? So edges between the nodes represent the way the nodes are related. Next, it's easy for program to get from one node to another if there is a line connecting them, right? So that's the advantage of edges, right? If there is no connection between these nodes, then how can you traverse from one node to another node? If there is no traversal from one node to another node, for example, you take the arrays concepts. The elements are stored in a contiguous memory locations, right? So after accessing the first element, you can access the second element, third element, fourth element. Like that, there is some connection, right? Similarly, if you take stacks, one element is placed above the other element, and if you want to pop element, you have to make use of a top pointer. Similarly, if you take queues are also, again, they have some relationship between the elements, right? Similarly, the nodes that are present inside the trees should have some connection. Otherwise, you cannot traverse from one node to another node. If you can't traverse from one node to another node, you cannot perform a searching operation. You cannot perform insertion. You cannot perform deletion. Therefore, there should be an edge between the nodes. And we have different terminologies which we will come across in the next coming slides. That is path, what do you mean by traversing, what do you mean by visiting, what is route, all these things we'll discuss, right? So edges between the nodes present the way the nodes are related, and it is easy for a program to get from one node to another if we have the edges, right? The only way to get from one node to another node is to follow the path along the edges. That's what we discussed, right? Next, coming to the definition of the trees. While discussing the introduction part to the data structures, we have discussed the classification of data structures as linear data structures and nonlinear data structures, where we have two examples in the nonlinear data structure, that is trees and graphs. So while coming to the trees definition, I told that it is a nonlinear data structure where there exists a hierarchical relationship between the nodes or elements. Hierarchical means level by level relationship. Level means some nodes that are present in the same level are treated as one particular level, and there can be some other nodes which are present on top and they can be present in the bottom level also, right? So levels means they're considered as something like peers which have the same priority, which have the same importance. So those are called as peers, and all the peers will be located in one level only. So coming to trees definition, we told that it is a nonlinear data structure where nodes will be having a hierarchical relationship. As you can see in this example, this is one level, level 1, and the sales, manufacturing and R&D, all these three objects or all these three nodes comes under another level, level 2, right? So this is one node. So coming to the nodes, we have computers, US is one node, sales is another node, manufacturing, R&D, US, international, laptops, desktops, Europe, Asia, Canada, all these things are nodes. You can observe that these nodes are connected with a link or with an arc, which we call it as edges. That's what we discussed in the previous slide, right? These are called as edges, and in some cases you can also name these edges also. That's not a wrong part, that these edges can be given some names, right? We have different number of edges, right? Next, the US, coming to the levels discussion, the US international laptops and desktops all will be coming into one more level, which is called it as level 3, like that, right? Similarly, Europe, Asia and Canada, all this comes under level 4. So the nodes present here, the present that are present in this tree, are arranged in different levels, and one level is connected to second level by some means that is nothing but the edge, and that's why we call it as the hierarchical relation. So this is one level and this is second level, so and this is third level, this is fourth level. So all these things are arranged in a level by level fashion, which we call it as hierarchical relation. So this is all about introduction part. No, maybe no questions may be asked from this part, but you should know the terminology. Terminology, as I told that while discussing the stacks concept, the terminology related is push, pop, like that. And similarly for queues, we have the terminology like NQ, DQ. Similarly for trees, we should know the different terminologies. And the terminology size of this trees is very high or very large in size when compared to the terminologies of stacks and queues, right? So it is a finite non-empty set of elements. This we have discussed, and it is an abstract model of a hierarchical structure, and it consists of nodes with a parent-child relationship, right? This is important. It has some relation. The nodes have some relation. The relation is nothing but parent-child or grandparent-grandchildren, or the ancestors or descendants, like that, siblings. All these relations are there. It's almost related to human relations, right? Siblings means which have the same parent. For example, if you take the sales, manufacturing and R&D, all these lies in the same level, that is level 2, and these are connected to the same node, which we call this, which is a computers. Therefore sales, the parent of sales, the parent of manufacturing department and the parent of R&D department is computers, right? Therefore there exists a parent-child relationship here. We'll discuss all these things, right? Next, these are the applications of trees, where the first application is, it is an organization chart. Organization chart means you take any organization. You take any organization like educational institution. Educational institution can be represented in a tree chart, right? For example, in the top level we have the university, and in the next level we have the constituent colleges like JNTU, UCEK, UCEV, Vijayanagaram, and UCEN, Nasrapeta, and within this UCEK we have different branches, right? We have different branches, mechanical, civil, triple E, CSC, IT, like that. Similarly, in UCEV also we have different branches, right? So any organization can be represented in the form of a tree. To understand the structure of tree, to understand the structure of an organization, one can represent it by a tree data structure. Similarly, you can represent the officials also, right? For example, the higher officials for any educational institution is the principal. So principal will be in the top layer, and then after that vice principal academics, vice principal uh, academics, and vice principal finance. Like that you can divide the different vice principals, and then under that we have different departments, and each department will be led by head of the department, and each department will be having different professors, assistant professors, associate professors, and non-teaching staff, like that. So everything you can represent it by using the trees, right? So that's the meaning of this organization charts. And coming to file systems, in the Windows operating system, or you take any Linux operating system also, we have a concept called as file systems, right? So in as a root part, we'll have the root as the first node, and then within the root we have different subdirectories like this. For example, this is exe, this is lib file, right? Something like this. So we can have different number of directories under this root, and within the lib also we can have different number of directories, right? Like that you can extend this anything to any level. And this is another application of tree, that is any operating system makes use of the tree data structure for representing the file systems, right? And some of the programming environments, for example, functions, you call one function into another function, and this function again calls two functions, f3 and f4. In such case, you can make use of this tree data structure, right, to represent it. It is used for just representation purpose. So these are the various applications of trees. And after that, let me give an example of tree. This is an example of tree. As I told that it has two parts. A tree has two parts. What are those? It's nothing but the nodes, and the next one is edges. So we have two sets. One is the node set, and the second one is the edge set. Otherwise it is also called as vertex. Nodes are vertex, right? So we have the nodes as JN2K homepage. Within the JN2K homepage, this is nothing but the URL of JN2 Kakinada homepage. Under this JN2 Kakinada homepage, we have this teaching, research, and activities. And under this teaching, we have CS101, CS211. Similarly, in research, we have two different parts, that is papers, presentations, and we can also have one more thing, that is conferences. And we can also have one more thing, that is projects. And we can have one more object like this, which is nothing but patents. Like that you can represent a URL of this particular any website in the form of tree also, right? So this is a simple example, and you can observe that all these nodes, JN2 Kakinada homepage, teaching, research, activities, papers, presentations, those are connected in some relation. Those are connected to some other nodes with some relationship, right? For example, if you take teaching is derived from JN2K. That means it is having a direct link from JN2K. So if you have a direct link between these nodes, the node which is present at the top level, this is called as top level, right? Even though we represent it with level 1, something like that, but it is lying one step or one level above it, right? Therefore JN2 Kakinada homepage becomes the parent, and teaching becomes the child. Similarly, there is another child for this JN2 Kakinada homepage. Why? Because there exists only a direct link from the JN2 Kakinada homepage to research. Therefore, this research is also a child of the parent JN2 Kakinada homepage. Similarly, the activities is also the child of this parent JN2 Kakinada homepage, right? For example, if you move one level down to this level 2, This is level 3. What happened? This CS101 is having a direct link to teaching. Therefore, now this teaching becomes the parent and this is the child, right? And this is also child. Now you can observe what do you mean by siblings. Siblings are those nodes which are having the single parent or which are derived from a single parent. For example, if you take this level, teaching, research and activities, these 3 childs are having the same parent, that is nothing but the JNTU Kakinada homepage. Therefore, these 3 nodes are called as siblings. Siblings are those nodes which have the same parent, right? Similarly, CS101 and CS211 are the siblings. Those are the child of this teaching, right? Similarly, papers and presentations are childs to research. Now research become the parent. So again, papers and presentations are siblings, right? Now there is another relation. What is the relationship between CS211 and JNTUK homepage? Right. So this CS11 becomes grandchild. And this JNTU Kakinada becomes grandparent. JNTU Kakinada is grandparent to the grandchild CS211. So these are the different relationships. Same as that of the human relations. We have different relationships, right? Next. So now comes the 3 terminology. We have a term called as path. Path is nothing but, what he is saying, path is nothing but traversal from one node along the edges results in a sequence called path. You can simply say the path as a sequence of edges. You can call it as sequence of edges. For example, in the previous one, what is the path to CS101? Path is nothing but, you can say the path from one node to another node. You can say the path from one node to another node, or else you can say the path from one node to the root node. This is called as root, right? One node is specially designated and that is called as the root node. We'll define what root is, don't worry, right? So the path from CS101 to the root is, you have to go one level by level to the upward direction till you reach the root node. So therefore that becomes the path, right? For example, you assume that this is represented as E1 and this is represented as E2. Therefore the path from CS101 to root is nothing but a sequence of edges, right? Which is nothing but E1 comma E2. This is the path of CS101 to root, right? So that's the meaning of path. And coming to the root node, the node which is at the top of the tree is called as the root node, right? Or else you can also define like this, where a node which does not consist of parent is called as a root node, right? Next, parent. Any node except root. As I told that while giving the definition, the root will not have any root node, any parent node. So the node which does not have any parent is called as root node. So while defining the parent, you should be very careful that you should not include the root node, right? Any node, see here, the definition says that any node except the root node which has exactly one edge running upward to another node, the node above it is called as parent. This we have discussed in the previous example, right? And similarly, child. Any node may have one or more lines running downward to the next level. Those are called as childs. Similarly, a leaf node. This is one important thing, right? You should understand what a leaf node is and what an internal node is, right? So here, if you consider the leaf node definition, a node which does not have children is called as a leaf node. We'll explain it with the example in the next slide. So a node that does not have any children is called as leaf nodes, right? Similarly, subtree. Any node can be considered to be the root of a subtree which consists of its children and and so on, right? Similarly, there are a number of other terminologies, that is visiting a node. Visiting is different from the traversing. maybe you will get confusion when you do this pre-order, post-order and in-order traversals in the next few slides. And visiting is nothing but you go to that particular node and then you perform some operation. That means you are visiting that node to do some processing. For example, you visit that node to print the value, node value. That is one visiting, right? You print that node to count the number of nodes in the tree. So you go to that, you increment the counter, then you again go back, you again come to the next node and then you increment the counter. Like that, you whenever you visit a particular node, you perform some processing, right? So in the first case, you are just printing it, and in the second case, you are just incrementing the counter, right? So this is how the visiting is defined. Now coming to traversing. Traversing means this is also something similar to visiting only, but you won't do any processing. You just traverse it. You just go like that, right? So to traverse a tree means to visit all the nodes. This is important. To visit all the nodes in the specific order, right? So if anybody says you that traverse a tree, then traversing means you have to visit all the nodes without skipping any node. You have to visit all the nodes. In some specific order, right? Now coming to levels, as we discussed that the definition of tree itself says that it's a nonlinear data structure where the nodes have some hierarchical relationship. Hierarchical means every node or some nodes will be present in the levels. We represent everything in the form of levels, right? So the level of a particular node refers to how many generations the node is from the root. Remember that root is assumed to be at level 0. This is important. Root is assumed to be at level 0. So what about the level of the next level, the childs of the root node? They come under level 1. Similarly, the grandchild of the root come under level 2. The grandchild comes under level 3. Like that, you should remember that the root node is always presented or always present at the level 0, right? And the last terminology is keys. Keys are nothing but the values that are stored inside the nodes. For example, if the node is represented like this, in general, the node in the tree in the pictorial form will be represented as a circle, like this. And within the circle or within this node, you have to give the name, which is nothing but the key of the node. For example, I give it as 10. Therefore, we represent it as node 10. Similarly, for example, if you take this node, you represent it as A. Therefore, it is called as node A. Right? So these are nothing but the keys which are used in naming the nodes. Right? Let us take one more example and we'll discuss what are these terminologies with respect to a given tree. See here, you can observe that this is root node and there exists 3 nodes B, C, D. How many children are there for root? It is 3. Why I am stressing this? How many children means we will discuss when we come across the binary trees, right? So for A we have 3 different trees and for B we have 2 children and C we have 2 children. D is having no children. According to the definition, if a node does not have any children, that node is called as leaf node, right? Similarly, if you come to E, this also does not have any children, therefore this is called as leaf. And similarly, I, J, K and G, H, all these things are called as leaves. As you can observe in the diagram, it is represented with a green block, right? And what about the nodes that are having children? Is there any name? Right, this is important and this terminology is important. Why? Because you may be asked questions on these things. We will discuss how questions will be asked and how we need to answer those things. Everything will be discussed. But right now you concentrate on the terminology, right? Internal nodes means either the node is having either as one child or two child or any number of children, right? So if any node is having at least one children, that node is called as the internal node. Therefore, what are the internal nodes here? We have the internal nodes as A, because it is having 3 children, and B, which is having 2 children, and C, 2, and E, which is having 3 childs, right? So internal means at least one child should exist. External, 1 minute, 1 minute. Sorry, and coming back to our discussion, we are at the external nodes and internal nodes. So the nodes which are having at least one children are treated as internal nodes. Here in this example, we have A, B, C, and F, and the external nodes. The other name for leaves is nothing but an external node, right? So if the node is not having any children, those nodes are called as leaf nodes or external nodes. In this example, we can have this E, I, J, K, G, H, and D, right? So what is the root here? We have the root as A, and siblings means the nodes that share the same parent. That is B, C, D is one sibling, and E, F is one sibling category, and G, H is one sibling category, and I, J, K is one sibling category, right? Coming to internal nodes, we discussed that node with at least one child is called as the internal node. Therefore, A, B, C, and F are called as internal nodes. External nodes, the other name for external nodes is leaves. That means nodes without any children are called as external nodes. Therefore, here we have E, I, J, K, G, H, and D, right? Ancestors of a node. We come across a terminology called as parent, grandparent, grand-grandparent. But what are these ancestors? Ancestors are nothing but as we move from a particular node in upward direction towards the root, whatever node we come across, those nodes are treated as the ancestors, right? For example, if you take E, what are the ancestors? The parent is B, therefore the ancestor is B, and another ancestor is grandparent, which is nothing but A. Therefore, B and A are ancestors to E. Simple terminology, which is a direct English, right? And coming to this one, one minute. I'm sorry, and coming back to our discussion. So ancestors, right? We are left with ancestors, and for I, the ancestors are, you go to the topward direction towards the root. That is, F is one ancestor, B is another ancestor, and A is another ancestor. Like that, we have different ancestors for different nodes. And coming to descendant means it's a reverse process. Reverse process means you start from that node and you go to the next levels. not to the upward level, you have to go to the downward level, and whatever nodes are there, those are called as the descendants. For example, if you consider A or B, you consider this B. What are the descendants of B? Nothing but E and F are descendants. Similarly, if you go deep, like I, J, K are grandchilds of D. Therefore, the descendants are nothing but children, grandchildren, and grandchildren, etc. And this is important, the depth of a node. The depth of a node is nothing but the number of ancestors. For example, if you consider E, how many ancestors are there? We have two ancestors, that is B and A. Therefore, the depth of this node is 2. Simply, or else you can simply give it as level. The level of root is always 0, and the next level is level 1. And what about this one? This is level 2. Right. So E is having a depth of 2. Similarly, F is at depth 2. Similarly, G is at depth 2. Similarly, if you consider this level I, J, K, it is named as level 3. Therefore, I is at depth 3. That's why you have to represent, right? Coming to the height of the tree, it's almost similar to the depth only. The maximum depth of any node. This is important, right? So this is level 1, this is level 0, and this is 1, 2, and 3. Height is very important terminology in trees. Remember. Height is very important terminology in trees. This height is very, very important terminology. Why? Because you have some questions related to height also, right? And you remember that the height of a tree is nothing but the maximum depth. That is nothing but levels, the maximum level. So here we represent the root as level 0, and this level as level 1, and this is level 2, and this is level 3, right? So the depth is 3, which is nothing but the maximum depth is 3, which is nothing but height, right? Similarly, assume that we have one more thing node called as L. Now the height of the tree becomes, this single node is represented with level 4. Therefore, the maximum depth is 4, which is equal to height. Very important concept regarding the height. And for example, the height of A is represented as 0. That is, root is 0. And after that, you have to represent it by incrementing 1 each. That is 1, 2, and 3. Right. So this is very important thing. And coming to degree of a node, very simple concept. It's nothing but the number of children for that particular node is called as the degree of a tree. Right. Degree of a node. If you consider this F, how many children are there? 3. Therefore, the degree is 3. If you consider B, it has 2 children. It is 2. If you consider A, it has 2 children. Don't consider different levels. You have to consider only the children. It has 3 children. Therefore, the degree of node A is 3. Similarly, for G, it has no children. Then the degree of node is 0, right? Similarly, H 0, 0, C 2, I 0, J 0, K 0, E 0, right? And coming to the next one, degree of a tree. This is very important. Degree of a tree is the maximum number of nodes. So what you have to do is, whenever you are asked to calculate the degree of a tree, you have to calculate the degrees of each and every nodes. For example, in this example we have calculated, right? A is having 3, B 2, C 2, D 0, like that we have calculated degrees for each and every node. And for calculating the degree of a tree, what you have to do is, you have to take the maximum degree node. For example, if you consider this given diagram, A is having the maximum degree of 3, similarly F is having the maximum degree of 3. Therefore, the degree of this given tree is 3. We have to consider the maximum value. Whichever node is having the maximum value, that becomes the degree of tree, right? For example, assume that F is having one more node like this. K, L, M. Right, now it becomes 4. Now the degree of tree changes. Why? Because you have to take the maximum node degree. The maximum node degree is 4, which is F, right? Therefore, the degree of tree in this case becomes 4, right? And coming to the subtrees, tree consisting of a node and its descendants. For example, this is entirely treated as a tree, and from this part, F, I, J, K, this is one subtree. Similarly, this B, E, another subtree. Similarly, this B, E, F, J, I, J, K, this is another subtree. Like that, we can have any number of subtrees. For example, if you go to this part, this C, G can be treated as one subtree. Similarly, C, G, H, another subtree. Like this subtree is having only one node, that is D. So this is all about the terminology, tree terminologies. This is subtree, and everything we have discussed. This is a simple another example, right? The element at the top of the hierarchy is called as root. Here the root is Zo, and elements next in the hierarchy are the children of the root, that is Anne, Mary, and John are the children, and elements next in the hierarchy are grandchildren of the root, that is Mike, Yale, Mark, and Chris. All these are grandchildren to Zo. And elements at the lowest level of the hierarchy, that is Mike, that is lowest level means which does not have any children, right? Mike, AI, Sue, and Chris are the leaves. And internal nodes are the nodes which are having at least one children, right? Joe is having one children. Joe is having 3 children. Therefore, it is an internal node. Anne is an internal node. Mary is an internal node. John and similarly Mark is internal node. So the nodes of each and every degree is Anne is having 2 children. The node degree is 2. Similarly, Mary 1 and John 1. It is 0, Mike 0, AI 0, and Mark 1, and Chris 0, and Sue is also 0. So what is the height of the tree? You have to take the node which is having the highest degree, which is nothing but 0, and its degree is 3. Therefore, the height of the tree is 3, right? It's a simple example. It's everything we have discussed. Let me take one simple example. What is the grandparent of Sue? What is the grandparent of Sue? Grandparent means you have to go 2 levels. One, if you go 1 level above, it is called as a parent. If you go 2 levels, it is called as grandparent. If you go 3 levels, it is called as grandparent. Therefore, grandparent of Sue is nothing but Mary. Similarly, siblings of Mary are nothing but Anne and John. They are in the same level, right? Like that, ancestors of Mike. If you take Mike, who are the ancestors? Which are nothing but you go to the top level. You go to levels upward in the upward direction until you reach the root. Therefore, Anne and Joe are the ancestors of Mike. So another example. How many number of nodes are there? In this one, we have A, B, C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Therefore, the value is 9. What is the height of the tree? You have to give the root node as height is equal to 0. What is the next level here? This is height 1. This is height 2. And that means these D, E, F are at height 2. Not that height 2 means this is height 2, right? This D, E, F are at height 2 and G at 3. This is 3 and this is 4. Therefore, the height of the tree is 4. This is very important concept, calculating the height. Please remember that the node always starts with height 0. That means the node is always present. We assume that the node is always present at height 0. So if you have only one element as A, if you say what is the height, it's not 1, it is only 0. Right? The root is always placed at level 0, therefore the height is 0. Right? Coming to root node, what is the value? It is A. What are the leaves here? You consider the children, the leaves which the nodes which does not have any children, right? So it's D. Leaves are D, comma H, comma I, comma F and C. What are internal nodes or interior nodes? Whatever it may be, exterior or external, both are same. Don't get confused, right? Interior nodes means internal nodes. That means nodes which are having at least one children is called as a interior node. Therefore, A, B, E, and G. Right? Ancestors of H. Where is H? Here. What are the ancestors of H? You go one level upward, it is G. Again move upward direction, it is E. Next D and A. Right? So G, E, B, A are the ancestors of H. Parent, grandparent, grand-grandparent and grand-grand-grandparent. Right? Similarly, descendants of B. You start at this one. What are the descendants? It is, you can say it as E, G, H, I, like that. Next, what are the siblings of E? You identify where this E is. It is present here. And you identify what are all the nodes that are present in the same level. Right? We have D, comma, F. Similarly, right subtree of A. The right subtree means this is one. This is called as left. And this is called as right. Right? So the right subtree of A is C. What is the degree of this tree? Very important. If you want to find the degree of tree, you have to find the degree of each and every node, right? So the degree of this node is 2, this is 3, and this is 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 0. So the maximum degree is node B. Therefore, that degree of this tree is 3, right? So you may be asked questions like this, you'll be given a tree and he'll be asking you the height of the tree or the degree of the tree or the degree of a particular node, right? Not by giving the tree. For example, you may be asked, there are some questions like where you can construct the BST, like binary search tree. You'll be given some elements and you have to construct the binary search tree. And after constructing, he will ask you what is the left child of some node 20. Or he may be asking you what is the depth of node 50, or he may be asking you what is the height of the tree, or he may ask you what is the degree of a particular node 20, like that, right? So maybe he don't directly give this type of tree diagrams and he may not be asking you. Why? Because it will, the question itself looks like a large question or complex question, right? So in such case, you may be asked or you will be given some elements and you will be asked to construct the binary search tree, and he will ask a simple question like what is the height of the constructed binary search tree. So this terminology also plays important role. That's the reason why I am discussing in depth, right? Coming to subtrees, as I told us and Mike, this particular thing is one subtree of Joe, and this is another subtree of Joe, and this is another subtree of John, right? You can also have subtrees for Mary. What is the subtree for Mary? It is nothing but Mark and Sue. Levels and height, this also we have discussed. This is somewhat wrong. So it's not wrong. In some textbooks they will be discussing as the root always be placed at level 1 and then you have to increment the other nodes one by one, like that they will say. But you remember that never mark this root as level 1. You mark it as level 0, right? Now it becomes 1. Now it becomes 2. Now it becomes, right? So root is at level 0 and its children are at level 1, right? Coming to height and depth, it is number of levels. This is very important. You will be getting confused to calculate the height. So here you should always treat it as 0. I will change the slides later. So the next level is 1 and the next level is 2. I don't say that giving the level number of the root as 1 is wrong, because some textbook they will consider it. But most of the cases you will be asked the height of the tree, where you have to consider the root node is present or the root node is at height 0, right? So what is the height of this tree? which is nothing but the maximum depth. That is nothing but the number of levels. Right. We have some formulas related to height. That's why we are stressing more on this height terminology. We have some formulas. If you take a wrong value as the height, you will get wrong answer. That's why always remember that the root is always placed at level 0 only. It's not level 1, level 0. And from the remaining levels, you have to increment those level values, right? So the height of this tree is the maximum depth, which is nothing but 3. Very important point, always treat the root as 0th level only. Always treat the height of the tree as 0 only, height of the root as 0 only. Thereby you can calculate the height of the tree, right? This also we have discussed the node degree, and this also we have discussed the 3 degree. What is the 3 degree here? It's nothing but 3. Why? Because the maximum degree of the node is 0, which is 3, right? This example we have discussed, right? No problem. Parents, children, siblings, and everything we have discussed.